Hello, I'm Steve Hamilton. I'm currently the Associate Provost for Outreach for Cornell. I retained my position as a professor in the Department of Human Development, and I have, in that position, had an extension appointment for my entire career at Cornell, which is now more than 30 years old. One of the things I think about with the 4-H brand is the critical importance of the connection between 4-H at the local level and Cornell University. It's the largest form of outreach we have to young people, and because it's based in the university, it has some resources that no other youth-serving organization has. Specifically, it has access to the knowledge of the university, predominantly research-based knowledge, and that gives it a kind of legitimacy and substance that no other youth-serving organization has. There's another component to that I think we might be able to do even more with, namely the opportunities that 4-H can provide for young people, not only to learn about science-based knowledge, but also to learn what science is. And that's important both individually, but also for our nation. There's a great deal of concern, has been for some time, about where the next generation of scientists is going to come from, how our population, our voters, gain the scientific literacy that they need to help the government make wise decisions about all kinds of issues that involve scientific evidence. And there's a big difference between learning science as received facts and learning science as a process that attempts to find the truth about any given situation. I did a study more than 20 years ago that was motivated by 4-H educators, we call them agents then, saying that they had trouble retaining teenagers and asking me, as somebody who's interested in adolescent development, what can we do to retain teenagers? So I did a survey with a graduate student based on membership rolls from 2 counties from 5 years previously. So what we did was take from those membership rolls young people who would at that time be teenagers and try to track them down. Some of them had, of course, by this time left 4-H, and some of them had stayed in, and our questions had to do with, if you stayed, why did you stay? If you left, why did you leave? I found it very revealing, but I still remember reading the transcript. These were telephone interviews of one young person who said, I left 4-H because they didn't have anything there for my interest in science. And I was just floored that this young man had managed to be a 4-H member and didn't recognize the scientific basis of the material there. It may have been tied to this distinction between science as a given set of knowledge and science as a practice. If so, I think it's even more important for us to emphasize the latter and look for ways to engage young people in scientific activities, not just as the recipients, the passive recipients of science-based knowledge. That actually goes back to the very origins of 4-H, which included young people planting test plots which demonstrated to their fathers that the advantages of hybrid corn. That is, the young people were more open to agricultural innovations, which they then demonstrated to their parents. The Cornell's Laboratory of Ornithology is particularly good at what they call citizen science, which enables young people and others to collect data that then actually get used in scientific investigations. It's also possible to identify local issues and engage young people in collecting information about those local issues that then can be communicated to decision makers and inform those decisions. And of course, many 4-H projects do involve laboratory work or experimental work on a small scale. I think all of those things are strengths that 4-H has and things that set us apart from other youth-serving organizations that also address an important national priority. I would add one other aspect of 4-H that I think is important to emphasize, and that is its capacity to reach out to underserved populations. 4-H can be just an organization that well-educated parents, parents who earn a decent living, can enable their kids to participate in, but both in rural and urban areas, there are excellent examples of 4-H reaching out to minority and low-income populations and giving them opportunities that they otherwise would not have. When you put those two things together of reaching out to underserved populations and engaging young people in the real core activities of science, I think you have something that is potentially very powerful and certainly is unique.